What's up guys, the Hunted Reaper here, and today's video is going to be all about Crackdown 3. Now, new gameplay and footage was just released at E3 2018, so we have a lot to cover, talk about, like characters, special abilities, all these awesome new features that were just announced. So guess what? Let's get to it, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and subscribe. So like a bad human, I'm going to start off with the bad news first, and I'm going to tell you that Crackdown 3 has been delayed again to 2019. There was also no multiplayer gameplay and no destruction gameplay in multiplayer that most people were really excited for. So now that we have all the bad news out the way, I'm going to talk about some of the small changes I've seen towards the gameplay, and then I'm going to get into the big gameplay changes and big reveals in this gameplay trailer. So first off, it looks like a lot of the animations in this game are different. The suits are different, the character faces are different, a lot of things have changed. It looks sleeker, nicer, and more luminescent. The color scheme is very vibrant and has all these neon lights around it. It looks like they really changed up the lighting style and made Pacific City feel very different. From the last trailer that we did see, the game didn't look as crazy as this. It looks like they've been adding a lot of stuff to the game. Now, one of the first things that really popped to me in this trailer were the new enemy variations. As you see here, there's a lot of mechs. There's even these kind of alien-esque Destiny 2 type characters, which actually kind of fit more into Crackdown than Destiny itself. And it looks like what the creators are actually trying to achieve is overpowered characters with overpowered enemies. So we see that we have some enemies that are easily killable, but we also see some enemies that look like they're going to be a big challenge to keep that kind of difficulty in the game, because we know that once the end of Crackdown hits, no enemies are strong enough to beat you, and you become like this kind of godlike super character. And while the game is awesome, it is fun to see that, like, you know, that there's still going to be a difficulty curve in this game. Also, there's a bunch of new weapons in this game. It looks like there's a lot of new tether weapons. It looks like there's a lot of new abilities to just be able to grapple things, pull things towards you. It looks like there's a lot to do with magnets and stuff like that. Cars are also transformative, which is awesome as well. You can see these general cars right here. They're just transforming and latching onto the sides of roads, and it looks like maybe you can have just one type of car and you could transform it into anything. That would be awesome. I know a big thing in Crackdown was the fact that in Crackdown 2, that they took away transformative cars and everyone was pissed about it. So now this looks like they're bringing that back, and it looks awesome and better than ever. It also looks like there's a bunch of different areas to go into. As you just saw, that there's this kind of like ditch or big kind of desert dam that you just saw, or like canyon, and it looks a lot different from Crackdown we've known, because in general Crackdown really hasn't gone towards those places, but now it looks like we're getting to see different environments, and hopefully maybe even you get to swim a little better, and there's things you could do in the water, because I wouldn't mind seeing like a boat or something like that, but that's just speculation. As well as the facial animations, as you just saw, Terry Crews looks fucking awesome in this game, and it looks like all the characters' facial animations had a big improvement. They have more personality, and you could even see their name tag on their suit. Another big change is this character right here. He looks like some sort of god mode-esque character with electric things coming out of the sides of his gun, and as well as like glowing eyes. This might be what the highest level character looks like in Crackdown. Now, we know we're amplifying everything up to 10 in this game, so maybe the highest level character is some sort of god mode playground-esque character. This could also be kind of like a new Keys to the City mode, where you're given a character that's kind of invincible and you're just allowed to fuck around in the game, which would be awesome as well, because that was a big fun mode in Crackdown 2, and I'd love to see it come back in Crackdown 3. Although, we might be seeing something different in terms of that. Maybe there's like a multiplayer mode where you can have fun destroying the city with a bunch of friends too. That would also be awesome. However, we haven't seen that much destruction except for little particle effects here and there in the single player campaign. Now, we know that everything isn't going to be destructible in the single player campaign, but they're definitely going to be taking some facets of that destruction and incorporating it into the game, hopefully making it more dynamic and more fun and a little more realistic like multiplayer, or in terms of physics, not realistic in terms of things, because people don't jump 50 feet in the air. Now, this character right here, she looks like one of the villains in the game, hopefully one of the main villains, and she might be returning from Crackdown 2 as the old woman who was kind of the mastermind behind the whole virus in Pacific City. But now she looks a little ready. She looks like she's in a mech. It looks like this might be one of the boss battles in the game, where she has some sort of mech. You're just introduced to some sort of specialized mech, but it looks like there's going to be bosses coming back from the Crackdown series, so hopefully these bosses are new, dynamic, and authentic, because a lot of the times in the Crackdown series, we've noticed that a lot of the bosses are these kind of generic characters who are just bullet sponges. Now, it worked in Crackdown 1, especially with their multi-leveled kind of boss stages, and in Crackdown 2 it kind of collapsed upon itself, and the bosses were these crappy like horde waves of enemies with with also like non-rememberable other characters that kind of died really easily. Now the amount of characters that they had made it a challenge for gamers, but there was no memorable enemies in that game. Now it looks like in this game there's going to be a lot of memorable enemies, factions, characters, and bosses, and that looks like a concoction for an awesome game. I am a little worried for the production process of Crackdown, although they have been at E3 this year, which is a good sign, because they keep on changing the game up. This game looks a lot different from the one we saw last year, and the one we saw last year was a lot different from the one we saw before that. And maybe next year, they might delay it even more and show us a newer version of this game. It looks like a big ambitious project, but with big ambitious projects like Duke Nukem, you see how the games cascade upon themselves and end up being a piece of shit. Hopefully this doesn't take that, because they have an A-list of crews, and it also is an Xbox main title, so it does look really good. Hopefully they don't screw this up and keep the same aesthetic of Crackdown while building on the gameplay. If you guys enjoyed this video or any gameplay, anything about Crackdown, I have a bunch of videos like that. It is one of my favorite games of all time. I also have other videos like State of Decay 2, Destiny 2, Battlefield 5, anything from E3, and anything you guys want to see, you can just message me or inbox me, and I will probably make a video on that. But without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Like, comment, and subscribe.